Hello, everybody.
Hi.
Welcome to SoulSpace Podcast number 68.
Yeah, 68. This is going to be a good one and you're going to enjoy it. I can guarantee it. It's
Yeah,
fun. I'm excited about this one. So this one we're going to talk about, in a way, how your body can kind of show you your future.
yeah, pretty cool.
It's really interesting, isn't it? I mean, I was intrigued when
Yeah,
when we wrote that down
yeah,
because we're going to go through some stuff from a brand new book, which a lot of you have probably heard of if you're into interesting books, especially from the Hay House.
yeah.
We're going to go through a little bit of Becoming Supernatural by Dr. Joe Dispenza.
And if you don't know Dr. Joe Dispenza by now, you need to know him.
You need to know him.
You need to look him up. He has lots and lots of YouTube videos. He's been interviewed on many, many podcasts. He is amazing to listen to and to learn from.
Yeah.
He's so, so cool and so good. So, look him up after you listen to our podcast.
After you listen to our podcast. Absolutely.
Yeah.
I love him because he is really into science and empirical evidence.
Yeah.
And I love that about him. And so he is into real science, not pseudoscience, and he applies that to spiritual concepts.
Yeah, and he is a doctor.
He's a
Is a
doctor.
chiropractor by trade. So he is really into the science because of that. So he loves it. And he's done so many amazing things. Yeah.
Yeah, amazing. And
Yeah.
people have real change experiences working with him. And this new book of his is amazing. It's the first book of his that I've actually bought because I was listening to a 1 hour session that he did about the book and about different things and experiences that people had in doing his practices and different things that he discusses in his workshops.
Yeah.
And after I listened to that, I listened to it on Hay House because I have the Hay House app, because of course I do.
Right.
And I was just blown away by what he was talking about. And I was like, okay, I have to know more. So when they said that the book was coming out soon, it was before the book came out. I was like, I have to get it. And then Hay House had like a $10 sale when they had first brought the book out as like a welcome sale.
Yeah.
I was like, yeah, it's mine. I bought it. I'm about halfway through it right now and I'm
awesome.
loving it.
Yeah.
So I highly recommend it.
Yeah.
No, I don't get any money from recommending it. I just love it.
Yeah, and everybody should know about him because he's so awesome. I have his book too, and I have his other one too. I can't think of the name off the top of my head because my brain is mush today. But
This something about unbecoming yourself or something.
Yeah, something like that. Anyway,
The placebo effect is another one of his books.
Yeah, yeah. And he does meditations. He has so many cool things. He actually has a show on Gaia TV too.
Yep.
If you're a Gaia subscriber, another good thing to subscribe to.
Yeah.
But he has a lot of talks on there and a show that he did that's really cool. So let's dive in.
Yes, so we're going to dive in. So if you do already have the book, you're a little lucky human like me. We are going to do just a small section here that I kind of fell in love with and I wanted to discuss on our podcast today. I am on page number 29 in the section called The Present Moment. And this section itself is called How Your Past Becomes Your Future. So we're going to go through a little bit of this and I'm going to read a little bit and then we're going to discuss because it's
not what you think.
It's so interesting how he brings this forward. Okay.
It's not at all about living in your past.
Nope. Okay, so let's take a closer look at what happens biochemically inside your body when you think a thought or feel an emotion. When you think a thought or have a memory, a biochemical reaction begins in your brain, causing the brain to release certain chemical signals. That's how immaterial thoughts literally become matter. They become chemical messengers. These chemical signals make your body feel exactly the way you were just thinking. Once you notice you are feeling a particular way, then you generate more thoughts equal to how you were feeling. And then you release more chemicals from your brain to make you feel the way you've been thinking.
Mhm.
So when I read this, I was thinking it's our body showing us the law of attraction at work.
Yeah, sure is.
100%.
Mhm.
Because so you think a thought or feel an emotion, right? And when you
Mhm.
have that, then the biochemical reaction to that in your brain happens and creates this chemical signal, which then signals your body to feel that way.
Yeah.
And then and then you bring in more thoughts that make you feel that way, and that continues.
Mhm.
So that's basically your body showing you the law of attraction
Yeah. Yeah.
at work within your body system. How amazing is that?
Yeah. It's really good. And I went through that today, but created the the wrong
You
way.
kind of went on
Uh,
like an interesting spiral.
Yeah, started yesterday, but I couldn't get out of it for some reason. And I kept creating more of it and finally got everything figured out, I think, by now. But I've had technical issues with everything I've touched, but now that I have them all, and all the while I'm thinking, I gotta get out of this, I gotta get out of this. But I think that created more angst.
Right.
So, but now, and every step that I figured something out felt better and better and better. So like I was climbing out of it, not knowing where the end was gonna be, but hopefully I found it now. But it felt better and better because like I figured it out. I figured everything out each time, and I'm like, okay, I got it. I can do this. So yeah, it's easy to get caught up in that when you don't know about the law of attraction or what Dr. Joe talks about. And but if you do know about it, you can think your way out of those situations
And what
many,
you
many
did
times.
is you said, I know there's a solution to this.
Right. I
And what
looked
you
for the
did,
solution.
yes, you
Yeah.
looked for the solution rather than continuing with I gotta get out of this, I gotta get out of this, I gotta get
Right.
out of this.
Yeah.
You went to, okay,
It doesn't feel good to do this right now. I'm shutting my computer off.
all right. And then you
Yeah.
took a step back
Yeah.
and waited a minute,
Yeah.
but then you went for, okay, now I need to look for the solution.
Mhm.
So rather than thinking about
Yeah.
the past, you
Yeah.
stopped, which
Yeah.
was great because we teach people if you're feeling that way where you're like, oh my gosh, oh my gosh, oh my gosh, oh my gosh, and you're just rolling downhill, pause,
Right.
put that stick down and pick up
Mhm.
another stick, which is
Yeah.
exactly what you did.
Yeah.
And then after that, when you feel better, then you come back to it
Mhm.
and you were like, okay, I know there's a solution, and you
Yeah.
looked for that rather than looking at the problem.
Yeah. 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 And it really does work if you can get your mind to pivot, like we always talk about,
Mhm.
look for solutions. And if you just always be solution oriented, you're gonna find the way out of whatever is going on. And don't stay in that problem piece. Move on to the solution. Look for the solution. And it's gonna pop up, and even just say, God, give me the solution.
Mhm.
It happens.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool how things will just come into your head, or you'll find it somewhere.
Yeah, it'll just pop in. You're like, were you looking
Mhm.
for this? Yes, I was.
Yes. Yes, exactly.
And that's what's really interesting about this piece of it too, is your body is showing you that you can choose how
Mhm.
it feels too, right?
Yeah.
So what's interesting is your body's showing you that thoughts become matter because thoughts become the chemicals from your
Things.
brain. So it's literally becoming matter in that moment. How amazing is that?
Yeah.
So it shows you that your thoughts have substance. And so remembering that can help you remember, okay, so if I am creating what's going on chemically in my body through
Mhm.
thought,
Yeah.
what am I going to do about that? Well, the obvious answer would be, I'm going to work on my thoughts so that they can be positive, so that my body has a positive experience and a positive outcome for health.
Yeah.
Right. And so when you think about it that way, is like medically, it's benefiting you to work on your thoughts. And that's something that we work on with people in our podcast all the time, is how to begin to pivot more easily, how to release beliefs that aren't serving you so that your thoughts can be more positive, how to train your mind to be more positive and solution focused, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So we work with our own clients on this. We work with ourselves on this. We work with you guys on our podcast on it. And here's one of the big reasons why. It's all about
science-based. Yeah.
We love science. I love science.
Yeah,
I love science. I'm
too.
such a science geek. I just love it, because what it does is the science part catches up to the spiritual philosophies and practices. And as it does that, it begins to validate for more people the truth in different ways of thinking.
Right.
And, you know, everybody kind of has their own perspective and their own personal truth, which is beautiful. But for me, this really strikes a chord as this is why thought is so important. This is why positive thought is so important. This is why affirmations are important. This is why it's important to really work hard to get a handle on what's going on up here, so that you can have more positive experience in your whole body, because one affects the other, and it'll go back and forth and back and forth and back and forth and back and forth if you allow it. Yeah. And who wants that bouncy house? Right. I know I don't.
No, I was there all day. No. Yeah, and it really teaches you to pay attention to what thoughts are coming. Yes. What are you thinking about? You know, and you can switch it so easy just by being grateful for things, you know, and just looking at, okay, I forgot how beautiful that picture was on the wall, you know, or I forgot how good it feels, how much I love fall weather, you know, just anything you can get your mind for a moment to get on a better track.
Yeah. A few moments adds up to momentum.
Yeah.
You know, if you can think about other things that make you feel even a little bit better for 17 seconds, just like this is saying, that thought creates more thoughts like it, as your body and your mind signal each other with chemicals. So as you think that more positive thought, as you do that more positive action, that thing that makes you feel better, that signal from your brain actually creates chemicals, which makes your body feel better. And that's why deep breathing is great, because that also calms that autonomic nervous system and creates positive chemicals in your brain. That's why smiling, even if you're not feeling great, creates those chemical reactions in your brain, which makes your body feel better, and then you feel better. I mean, there's so many different things that you can do. Listening to your favorite song, you know, all these different things help you to feel better. Exercise creates those endorphins, which signals your body, which makes you feel better. So it's thinking about, you know, the thoughts create that, the physical things that you do creates that. So all of the actions that you're doing moment to moment make a difference. So even if you had momentum, like you did this morning, where it just went in a negative direction, you took that pause and were able to pivot, and now it's been going up ever since then. You created that momentum in a positive direction because you knew what was going on, and you knew what wasn't going to get you to where you wanted to be. So you pivoted and you decided to change that. And what you did is you created that snowball effect, that domino effect, where everything started going boop, 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 in the right direction. And it makes a difference in seconds, really. Right.
Yeah, I could have gave up and said, oh, I need a new computer. I'm done with this one.
And then we wouldn't have a podcast right now.
Right.
Because I didn't bring my computer today.
We would have had a lot more trouble today.
Well, actually, we would have been solution focused and just done it on our phone. It's trickier with a book to be like, I'm reading my book while I'm holding my phone up.
Computer is much easier. But I could have just gave up and said, oh shoot, I need a computer where make some money.
Yeah.
You know,
Because I need my computer to make said money.
Yeah,
So
I need that. I live with my computer. But instead, I learned how to fix it and I figured it out and it really wasn't broken.
right.
Some
It was
who knows?
apparently a common issue
Yeah,
that other people knew how to fix. And
Yeah.
you're like, okay, I'll try that.
yeah, so everything turned out and
And now we're here doing
figured
it.
it out. Yeah.
So I just love that part. It just really rings with, you know, your body is showing you that the law of attraction at work, because it is a universal law.
Yeah, and I love that it's a universal law and people don't know about those. We're not taught about that kind of stuff in school, you know. And they are backed by science and there's starting to be more and more excuse me, science about them and about how to work with those laws. So it's so exciting. I just love it. Love that it's finally being proven in things that
people are starting to pay attention to that.
Yeah.
And you know what's interesting is it's not all new information. You know, people like Napoleon Hill and Einstein in the early 1900s were talking about this. And, you know, 3000 BC, you know, and the Vedas, you know, there's so much information from the past that's being brought into the now. But now also they're backing it with the science. It's beautiful. I just love it. It makes me so happy in my heart.
Yeah, and Dr. Joe never would have probably found it or started to study it until he had an accident and healed himself. When they said you might not ever walk again, you know, and it's people like him that have that science background that say, hey, I'm going to prove this. And you're going to watch me, you know? And he did. And now he's helping other people do the same thing. And it's just so cool to have that science behind the knowledge now.
Right, because it brings people with that logical mindset into the game.
Right.
It helps them to really understand it on a logical level in addition to a spiritual level. So it helps them to develop more spiritually by it logically understanding what's happening in science. It's great. I just love it so much.
It's awesome.
It is awesome. So I'll continue with the book because I'd love to read you the whole book. We're not gonna do that.
We'd be here for days and days.
We'd be here forever, but we would all be having a real good time. I can tell you that.
That would be good.
Okay, so he gives an example. For example, if you have a fearful thought, you start to feel fear, right? That makes sense. The moment you feel fear, that emotion influences you to think more fearful thoughts. And those thoughts trigger the release of even more chemicals in the brain and body that make you continue to feel more fear. The next thing you know, you get caught in a loop where your thinking creates feeling and your feeling creates thinking, just like we talked about, right? The ping pong effect. If thoughts are the vocabulary of the brain and feelings are the vocabulary of the body, and the cycle of how you think and feel becomes your state of being, then your entire state of being is in the past.
Isn't that cool?
Isn't that interesting?
Yeah. And it's cool to think about, you know, when you think a thought, it's already in the past.
Right.
Because it's already happened.
It's already happened. And your body's reacting to the past.
Yeah.
Because that thought is now in the past.
Right.
But this moment is a new moment also. And that's one thing I always like to say is this moment is a new moment. And anything can be.
Right. So at any time you can think who you want to be. You know, we don't have to be that person back there.
Even if it was a moment ago.
Right. Yeah. Just stand up and be who you are, who you want to be.
So if one moment you're not who you want to be and you realize that, oh man, I don't want to continue that. Great. Because right now that's in the past now. And this is this new moment. And you have this opportunity to change right now.
Right.
And then right now. And then right now.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
And using my computer as an example, you know, it wouldn't start up. I could have right there said, oh, I don't know anything about this. What am I gonna do? But I do know a little bit to get enough to know that I can find the answer usually. And so I did that. No, I can figure this out. And I stood that ground, you know, and then I did it. I figured it out. So
Exactly.
you
You
can do
decided,
that
you
with
said, I'm gonna
anything.
figure this out. I don't
Yeah.
wanna buy a new computer.
Yeah,
I want my
Yeah.
computer to work.
yeah,
And you decided that, and then you started taking the steps that you were
Mhm.
inspired to do after
yeah,
that.
yeah,
Oh, look this up.
right.
Oh, look, there's like 10 different ways I can try to fix it.
Yeah, YouTube.
YouTube is great. So is Google.
Yeah,
We all
Google
love our
first, then
YouTube.
it tells you YouTube videos.
Thanks, YouTube.
And thanks, Google, yes.
Yes, we're on YouTube right now.
Yeah,
If you're wondering,
yeah,
we
yeah.
like YouTube.
We like YouTube, yeah.
But isn't that so interesting?
Yeah.
That from that thought to that loop, it's already all in the past.
Right, yeah.
So interesting to think about that.
Yeah, and you don't really think about that. Unless you get into deep thoughts like we love to dive into.
do get into deep thoughts.
Yeah, it's fun to dive into those, you know, where I like deep conversations.
Right.
Like
We're
that.
philosophical
It's
thinkers
more
in
fun.
addition
Yeah,
to,
yeah.
you know, everything. I don't even know how to describe us.
No. We're just
Amazing.
us. We're just us. Yeah, amazing.
Oh my gosh. All right, we're having fun today. Okay, so I'm going to continue with this because it'll continue to get more and more interesting, trust me.
Yeah.
When you fire and wire the same circuits in your brain over and over again because you keep thinking the same thoughts, you are hardwiring your brain into the same patterns, right? We all know that.
Yeah.
As a result, your brain becomes an artifact of your past thinking. And in time, it becomes easier to automatically think in the same ways. At the same time, as you repeatedly feel the same emotions over and over again, since, as I just said, emotions are the vocabulary of the body and the chemical residue of past experiences, you are conditioning your body into the past. So you're conditioning both your mind and your body into those past thoughts and patterns.
So a little example of that is, say you take the same route to work every day, and then you switch jobs and you find yourself going to your old job. I've done that a couple times. Yeah.
Right. And that's not muscle memory. No. That's your brain.
Yeah.
Wiring.
That's just you're driving unconsciously, you know, just letting your subconscious take over, and it's just taking you where it took you every day before. Right. You know.
The pattern's repeating itself because you're allowing it to just go on autopilot.
Right. Yeah. So that's a perfect example of that. The neurons making a pattern. So we need to switch those up once in a while.
Absolutely. We love pattern interrupts.
Yeah.
We've talked about those before, but we'll talk about that again.
Yeah.
Okay. So now let's look at what that means for you on a day-to-day basis. Given what you just learned about feelings and emotions being the chemical end products of past events, the moment you wake up in the morning and search for the familiar feeling called you are starting your day in the past. So, when you start to think about your problems, those problems which are connected to the memories of past experiences of different people or things at certain times and places, create familiar feelings such as unhappiness, futility, sadness, pain, grief, anxiety, worry, frustration, unworthiness, or guilt. If those emotions are driving your thoughts and you cannot think greater than how you feel, then you are also thinking in the past. And if those familiar emotions influence the choices you're going to make that day, the behaviors you're going to exhibit, or the experiences you're going to create for yourself, then you're going to appear predictable and your life is going to stay the same.
I don't like predictable very much.
Right. But here's the thing. Think about what Einstein said. He said, what's the definition of insanity?
Yeah.
Doing the same thing over and over again, expecting different results.
Yeah.
But when you think about it, how many of us live on autopilot, doing the same things over and over again, thinking the same thoughts over and over again, and expecting change?
Right. And it doesn't happen. Yeah.
Because they're not interrupting that automatic pattern that they've been in before.
Yeah.
And that's what's really interesting about this, is because he's saying, well, when you're doing this, You're literally living in the past.
Mhm.
And how much is that really benefiting you if you're wanting change?
Yeah, it's if you want to stay in that safe zone or little box, then that's good.
That's fine. But at the same time,
But
we're all creators. So if you're not
Right.
creating the life that you want,
then you're not as happy as you could
you're not as
possibly
happy
be.
as you could be.
Yeah.
And the thing is like, we're big on happiness.
Yeah.
We want you to enjoy your life.
Yeah.
Because you deserve that. You deserve to enjoy your life.
Mhm.
We all do.
And no matter what you're going through, you can still be happy.
You can still
at your
find
core.
joy
Yeah.
in
Yeah.
every day.
Yeah.
Yeah. And at your core, you don't have to be completely shaken
Right.
just by outside events.
Yeah. Stuff might wobble you once in a
Of
while,
course it will.
but you don't want to stay there, and you don't want that to be your main way of feeling or being.
Right. I mean, because if you have a miserable day, do you want to carry that with you your entire life? Of course you don't. Nobody wants to be miserable the whole life.
And that ripples out to people around you. But if you have that core happiness, that also ripples around. And you'll get people that will say, oh, I just feel good being around you. Even when you're in the room, I feel better. And that will happen.
It will.
Yeah.
It does happen. It happens to me all the time.
Yeah.
Happens to you all the time.
Yeah, it does. So remember that when you start feeling going down that slope, think about others, not just yourself, and know that you can change someone else's mood or someone else's the way they feel during the day just by being more of your happy self.
Right. And I mean, if you look deep enough, that's really your core is joy and
That's
love.
why we're put on the earth, is to be happy and do what you love.
Yeah. To joyfully create more.
Yeah.
And learn and become more.
Yeah.
And, why not do that?
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm gonna continue to do that. You should continue to do that.
Yeah.
If you're not doing that right now, I think it's time to start.
I think it's time to start. We give you permission.
We give you permission, yes. In case you needed it.
Right.
If you don't need it,
yeah.
Great. If you did need it, it's
free. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's good.
I know I don't like to be told what to do, so everything we say is a suggestion.
Yeah.
That's hilarious. I was talking about that the other day. So side note, Carissa does not like to be told what to do. I don't. I hate it. I do. I hate it.
We were talking about that this morning at a meeting too.
That's hilarious. Yeah, because it's like one of my least favorite things is when somebody tells me what to do. So when I started working with the ladies in the office, as we hired them on, I told them that. I literally said, I don't like to be told what to do, but I'm always open to suggestions. I like suggestions, and I want us to work as a team. So I wanted you to know that ahead of time so that you're not like demanding or like telling me what to do. And so it's hilarious because now we make a joke of it. And one of the ladies in the office is really like the mom of the office, and I adore her so much. I love her. And so she very carefully makes all of the things that she would like me to do a suggestion. Like, Carissa, when were you thinking about going to lunch? It's supposed to, you should be soon, don't you think? Yeah, you're right. It should be. I think that's a great idea. And we just, we'll laugh and all that kind of stuff. But everything they put to me is like, what do you think? And they like make it a suggestion. And I just love it because I know exactly what they're doing. But at the same time, I'm always open. I just don't like somebody to just tell me what I'm going to do.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I just don't, because I get to decide. You don't I decide.
Right.
And that's how it should be for your life too. Is you get to decide. So you can choose how you want to continue from this moment. What are you going to choose?
Yeah.
Are you going to choose to go on autopilot, or are you going to choose to consciously create the life that you want?
Yeah. I choose to consciously create.
I do too. And I'm enjoying the crap out of it.
Yeah.
I tell you.
Yeah. Me too. Me too. Yeah.
Is it perfect? No. Is it going quite well? Yes.
Yeah.
I would say so. Okay. I love this. All right. Continuing on. Okay, so we said you're going to appear predictable and your life is going to stay the same. That's where we ended. So we're on page 30 now. Now, let's say after you wake up, you turn off your alarm, and as you lie there in bed, you check your Facebook, Instagram, or WhatsApp. your Twitter, your text, your emails, and then the news. Now you are really remembering who you are as you reaffirm your personality and connect to your past, present, personal reality. Then you go to the bathroom, you use the toilet, brush your teeth, take a shower, get dressed, and then you head for the kitchen. You drink some coffee and eat breakfast. Maybe you watch the news or check your email again. It's the same routine you follow every day. Then you drive to work using the same old route, and when you get there, you interact with the same coworkers you saw the day before. You spend your day performing pretty much the same duties you performed yesterday. You might even react to the same challenges at work with the same emotions. Then after work, you drive home. Maybe you stop at the same grocery store and buy the food you like and always eat. You cook the same food for dinner and watch the same television show at the same time while sitting on the same place in your living room. Then you get ready for bed in the same way you always do. You brush your teeth with your right hand, starting from the upper right side of your mouth. You crawl into the same side of the bed. Maybe you read a little and then you go to sleep. If you keep doing these same routines over and over again, they will become a habit. A habit is a redundant set of automatic unconscious thoughts, behaviors, and emotions that you acquire through frequent repetition. Mm-hmm. Basically, it means your body is now on autopilot, running a series of programs, and over time, your body becomes the mind. You've done this routine so many times that your body automatically knows how to do certain things better than your brain or conscious mind. You just switch on the autopilot and go unconscious, which means you'll wake up in the next morning and essentially do the same things all over again. In a very real sense, your body is dragging you into the same predictable future based on what you have been repeatedly doing in the same familiar past. So your body creates the future. Mm-hmm. Right? Okay, so we'll continue. You will think the same thoughts and then make the same choices that lead to the same behaviors that create the same experiences that produce the same emotions. Over time, you've created a set of hardwired neurological networks in the brain, and you have emotionally conditioned your body to live in the past. And that past becomes your future.
Isn't that crazy?
Isn't that interesting?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So you need to shake things up once in a while.
Right. Absolutely. If you're not, you're doing the same things over and over again, over and over again, and over and over again.
Yeah.
And so your body has a struggle to break that habit because, and we'll get into this here in a minute, it continues to, you don't continue on that same pattern, your body sometimes can go through withdrawals because it's expecting something. It's expecting the certain chemicals from the same experiences, from the same feelings, from the same thing you went through every day.
Yeah.
And when you interrupt it, it can go, whoa, what's happening?
Yeah.
Where am I?
Yeah.
I don't know if I like this.
Right.
And that's that uncomfortable feeling that you get.
Yeah.
Not because the experience or the thing that you did differently is bad, but because your body doesn't yet know how to deal with that change.
Right.
And that's why change can be difficult for so many people, because not just because it's a thought pattern thing, but because it's a physical body thing.
Right.
That makes it difficult for both your brain, which has that neurological set, and your body, which has the chemical set, to change it all of a sudden.
Yeah. Yeah. There's a quote that is, your comfort zone is a great place, but nothing grows there. And that's kind of that in
that's
a nutshell.
What that's saying. Yeah. And that's why, like we said, change can be really difficult. But when you do interrupt that pattern, super interesting things can happen.
Right.
If you can get through that uncomfortable piece of it.
And that is really just your ego trying to keep you safe, right?
And your body too.
Yeah, and your body. So if you know that going in to change, you're going to know that, okay, I can deal with this. It's just trying to keep me safe, and that's okay. And you can even talk to your mind, okay, mind, I know you're trying to keep me safe, but this is going to get me so much further. You're coaxing yourself to feel okay. And, just talk yourself through it. We've taught you many techniques that you can use.
Thank you mind is one of my favorite, especially for this.
Yeah.
You can do thank you mind and thank you body.
Yeah.
In this instance.
Yeah.
Talk Talk yourself through it. Talk
Yeah.
yourself past it. Remind yourself that you are safe no matter what's happening.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. If you were looking at a timeline of your day, starting with waking up in the morning and continuing until you go to bed at night, you could pick up that timeline of yesterday or today, your past, and place it in the space reserved for tomorrow, the future, because essentially the same actions you took today are the ones you're going to take tomorrow, and the day after that, and the day after that. Let's face it, if you keep the same routine as yesterday, it makes sense that your tomorrow is going to be a lot like your yesterday. Your future is just a return of your past. That's because your yesterday is creating your tomorrow. And it talks about a figure 2.1 that it has in the book. And maybe I can show you that. We'll see if I'm able to show you that on the thing. But it says, take a look at figure 2.1. Each of those vertical lines represents the same thought that leads to the same choice that initiates an automatic behavior that creates a known experience that produces a familiar feeling or emotion. If you keep reproducing the same sequence, in time, all of those individual steps merge into one automatic program. This is how you lose your free will to a program. The arrow represents an unknown experience, dropping in somewhere between your driving to work in traffic, knowing you're going to be late again, and you try to stop by the dry cleaners on your way. So it's like, so they have a figure here where it says living in the program. See if I can show you that. And it has lines, and then that big fat arrow is where something different drops in, right? We could say that your mind and body are in the known, the same predictable future based on what you did in the same familiar past. And if that known certain future and in that known certain future, there's no room for the unknown. In fact, if something new happened, if something unknown were to unfold in your life at that moment to change the same predictable timeline of your day, you'd probably be annoyed at this disruption in your routine. You'd likely consider it troublesome, problematic, and downright inconvenient. You might say, can you come back tomorrow? This is not the right time. How many of us have had that experience?
Yeah. Or that thought.
Yes.
Yeah.
The fact is, there's no room for the unknown in a predictable life. But being predictable is not how the unknown works. The unknown is unfamiliar, uncertain, but it's also exciting because it occurs in ways you cannot expect or anticipate. So let me ask you, how much room in your routine, predictable life do you have for the unknown?
Yeah.
It's a good question.
It is. And that scares a lot of people, the unknown. But really, every minute forward is the unknown.
Is really unknown. You don't know what's going to happen in the next moment.
Yeah.
And that can be exciting,
Mm-hmm.
or you can be scared about it.
Yeah. I choose exciting.
I choose exciting because you know, there's infinite possibilities
right
in the next moment.
Yeah.
And in the next moment.
Mm-hmm.
And you never know what amazing things could happen.
Yeah.
And the thing is, even if there's something that's inconvenient, and this happens to me frequently, where there's something that's inconvenient, I'm like, but why is that happening? Isn't that interesting?
Yeah.
Well, if I'm getting delayed here, I know that that's going to help me wherever I'm going, whether it's like, you know, I missed someone that ran a red light, or someone that was driving wildly, because that happens frequently where we live, or, you know, there's so many ors, right? Or maybe there was that one person that I never want to see that just showed up at work when I wasn't there, and then they left by the time I got there because I was a little bit late.
Yeah.
Hey, win.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So,
or you met someone cool at the grocery store that standing in line that you never would have met if you would have been there at a different time.
Right. If there wasn't a long line, you wouldn't have been able to chat with that person.
Yeah. If you allow that flow to happen in your life, such amazing things will happen for you. Right. That you couldn't make up and you couldn't plan. Right. If you tried.
So think of inconveniences as opportunities.
Right. Yeah.
And if you can reframe your mind in that way, it'll make your life so much more joyful and so much more interesting. You're like, okay, well, this is really inconvenient. You can allow yourself maybe that a moment of annoyance, but then bring yourself back, pivot to realizing, okay, If this is happening, it's happening for a reason.
Yeah.
So where's the opportunity here?
Mm-hmm.
What's the good thing that came out of this?
Yeah. Yeah. So good. So good.
I guarantee you'll find something.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe your favorite song plays before you get to work. You're like, oh, I'm really glad I got to hear that because now I feel a little bit better before I go into work.
Yeah.
I don't know. Happens. Okay. All right. All right. So we said, how much room do you have for the unknown?
Mm-hmm.
By staying in the known, following the same sequence each day of thinking the same thoughts, making the same choices, demonstrating the same programmed habits, recreating the same experiences that stamp the same networks of neurons into the same patterns to reaffirm the same familiar feeling called you are repeating the same level of mind over and over again. In time, your brain becomes automatically programmed to do any one of those particular sequences more easily and effortlessly the next time, and the next time, and so on, right? So it's creating those neural networks and patterns. As each of these individual steps merge into one complete step, thinking a familiar thought of an experience of somebody or something at some place at some time will automatically create the anticipation of the feeling of the experience. If you can predict the feeling of any experience, you are still in the known. For instance, the thought of having a meeting with the same team of people you have worked with for years can automatically cause you to call up the emotion of what that future event will feel like. When you can predict the feeling of that future event because you had enough past experiences to make it known to you, you're probably going to be creating more of the same. And of course, you are right. But that's because you are the same. That's because you are the same.
Mm-hmm.
By the same means, if you are in the automatic program and you cannot predict the feeling of an experience in your life, you will probably be hesitant to engage in it. So let me read that one more time. And of course, you are right?
Mm-hmm.
But that's because you are the same. By the same means, if you are in the automatic program and you cannot predict the feeling of an experience in your life, you'll probably be hesitant to engage in it. Yeah. So that's I can't predict what it's going to be like in this unknown future moment because I haven't had a similar experience before.
Mm-hmm.
Should I engage in it? That's where the fear of the unknown comes in.
Right. But instead, or to pivot, you can say, I'm excited to see what's going to happen.
Won't it be interesting?
Yeah, won't it be interesting? How does it get better than this?
Yeah.
You know, you can change that way of feeling about the unknown.
Mm-hmm. And rather turn that anxiety that you're feeling about not knowing into remembering that every moment is a new opportunity.
Right.
And if I have positive thoughts about it, I'm signaling my body to have positive feelings about it. And I'm creating that positive future that's full of opportunity for me in this new situation that I've never been in before. Yeah. And how cool is it going to be to see what comes of that? Yeah. And feel the excitement of it. And then you're creating that momentum of a good outcome, and it just creates more and creates more and creates more and creates more. Yeah. So now you know what to do. I love it. I love it. And it's fun because it really illustrates the things that we talk about. Yeah. And, each moment, and it doesn't, we make it sound like it's so much work to think about each moment, but you're not going to be like that. You're not going to think about every single moment of your day. No. But when you catch yourself going the wrong way, now you'll know, what do I do? I'm choosing a better thought. I'm choosing to go forward. I'm choosing the solution. So it makes it easier to start thinking that way. And that's going to create a habit like you talked about. And it's going to create a more positive habit rather than the backwards. Right. And you're creating a habit of being more and more comfortable with the unknown. Right. And excited about it. Yeah. And what can you create from there? Yeah. Yeah. It's exciting. It is. It really is. Yeah. It is. I love just talking about it. I feel excited talking about it. Obviously, you can tell. I'm like, yes. Yeah. It's so good. Okay. And there's just a little bit, I mean, I just want to go on, but I'll go on just a little bit more.
She'll read the whole book.
Read the whole book to you.
No, we wouldn't keep you here that
No,
long.
we won't do that. Okay, so we need to look at one more aspect of thinking and feeling to get the full picture of what's happening when you keep living in the same state of being. This thinking-feeling loop also produces a measurable electromagnetic field that surrounds our physical bodies. In fact, our bodies are always emitting light, energy, or frequencies that carry a specific message, information, or intention. By the way, when I say light, I am not just referring to the light we see, but to all spectrums of light, including X-rays, cell phone waves, and microwaves. In the same way, we also receive vital information that is carried on different frequencies. So we are always sending and receiving electromagnetic energy. Here's how that works. When we think a thought, those networks of neurons that fire in our brain create electrical charges. When those thoughts also cause a chemical reaction that results in a feeling or an emotion, as well as when a familiar feeling or emotion is driving our thoughts, those feelings create magnetic charges. They merge with the thoughts that create the electric charges to produce a specific electromagnetic field equal to your state of being.
So cool. So they're creating that magnetism to create more of those good thoughts. If you're going in the right direction.
Right. So it's magnetizing to you
Yeah.
what you're thinking and feeling.
So it's attracting, hence the name, law
Law
of
of attraction.
Yeah.
I love it. And the second piece, I think, will really illustrate it even more clearly. Think of emotions as energy in motion. Motion, energy in motion.
Yes,
I love that.
I love that.
When-
That needs to be on a t-shirt.
Yes, please.
Okay.
Emotion, energy in motion. She's writing down for the t-shirt idea. So. We don't want to forget that. All right. So think of emotions as energy in motion. When someone experiences a strong emotion, walks into a room, their energy, aside from their body language, is often very palpable. We have all felt another person's energy and intent when they are angry or very frustrated. We felt it because they were emitting a strong signal of energy that carried specific information. The same is true of a very sexual person, a person who is suffering, or a person who has a calm, loving energy. All those energies can be sensed and felt. As you might expect, different emotions produce different frequencies. The frequencies of creative, elevated emotions like love, joy, and gratitude are much higher than the emotions of stress, such as fear and anger, because they carry different levels of conscious intent and energy. You read more about this concept later in the book.
Yeah, and we've talked about that a lot, how the truth feels lighter, or good thoughts, good feelings feel lighter in your body, and negative things feel heavier. They make your body feel heavy. Yeah, they weigh you down. Your stomach, you can feel that pit in your stomach when something doesn't feel good, but when it feels right, you feel that. You feel it in your gut or in your heart, or it just lifts you up more. And when we talk about it a lot, but when you start to pay attention to your body and notice what's going on, you're going to predict your future.
Exactly. Because you're creating your future by your now.
Right. Yep. You're staying on that positive side, or in that solution-oriented way of living, and you're creating those good things coming. Doesn't mean you're never going to have a stumble, but
of course not.
When you do, you're going to be able to get out of that much easier.
Creates resilience.
Yeah. Resilience is a good word.
It is, and it's important for a person to have, because without resilience, you just snowball all the way down.
Yeah.
And then have to try to find a way to pick yourself back up. Well, resilience, rather than doing that, teaches you to pivot before you get too far down, so that it's easier. And you don't bounce so far. You bounce back faster. That's what resilience really is.
Yeah.
Oh,
so good. We hope you're loving this.
I just want to read the whole book.
I know. We can't stay on forever.
I know. But I think that this conversation has been really good, and kind of illustrated some of the concepts we have in more of like a physical, scientific way that maybe more people can understand and connect
Right.
with.
And it probably gives you a better picture of when we talk about law of attraction or things like that. Now you have more of an idea and can maybe picture that in your head a little easier.
Right. It kind of tells you the why.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people, what's one of the number one things that they want to do? They want to improve their health.
Right.
They want to have healthy, long lives where their body feels good and they feel good.
Yeah.
And so this kind of tells you why your thoughts and your patterns of behavior are so important to really consciously create.
Yeah. And once you set that intention for yourself, it's going to make it easier for you to do. If you have that thought in your mind, okay, that's going to be my intention, to feel better and to be more alive in my life. How does it get better than that?
Right. I want to find out.
Right. Me too. Me too. Yeah. It's so awesome.
Yeah. We want you to find out along with us.
Yeah.
Which is why, we do our podcast. We want you to have this information too, so then you can begin to really consciously create and enjoy your life to the fullest.
Yeah. Yeah. So Carissa, where can we find you?
Oh,
on the interwebs.
On the interwebs. I know you guys love that word. I know you hate it so much, but we're going to say it anyway because we love it. Well, on the interwebs, you can find me on Facebook at Light of Hope Healing. You can also find us collectively on Facebook at Our SoulSpace. And then you can find us on YouTube at SoulSpace Podcast, which is where we're originally posting this if you are on another spot right now. And I am building a website finally. Hashtag got Carissa a website. Whoop, whoop. I have not completed it yet, but when it's completed, it'll be lightofhopehealing.com.
Yay!
I know, right?
No dashes.
No dashes, no craziness. Just my business name, lightofhopehealing.com. It is not up yet if you're watching this week. But I'm working on it right now.
Awesome.
I have everything in place. I'm just working on building the actual website itself, which I've done before for other people. Building websites is like something I've been teaching myself to do for a couple of years. So hopefully it'll be great. Find out.
Yeah. I'm the same way. I don't want to do it for somebody else, but I do it for myself.
Yeah.
But yeah.
And then I do still have my Square site, which has all the dashes.
Okay.
Tracy, where can people find and connect with you besides our podcast?
Inspiredsignals.com.
Great.
No dashes. No. You can find links to all my other stuff on there, but I'm also on Facebook and Instagram mostly. And a little bit TikTok. I did another TikTok video last week.
Yay.
So it was a good, I'll do more and more.
Awesome.
But yeah. Find us on our websites and go from there, or on Facebook, Instagram. Yeah.
And
all the things.
Also,
next week. Yay! Next week we're christening our new office and so if you're local, come and see us at SoulSpace. We're gonna do a little open house kind of thing and have some goodies and reconnect with some people, and then we're going to do a gallery of card readings because we both do readings, and we haven't done a gallery for a long time.
We haven't, and we love them. They're so much fun.
So fun.
We always have wonderful insights, and we always have such a wonderful time.
Yeah.
So I'm really excited to be doing that together again. So it's going to be next Wednesday, October 28th, correct? And it'll be from 5 to about like 8:30 years. We're not good with time. So starting at 5
to tentatively 8.
Yeah.
But
we'll
start readings at 6. And that's $30. And we're gonna have some fun. Kind of a pre-Halloween fun. Is it really the 29th or 30th?
I don't know. Somebody check calendar. What's next Wednesday?
I think it's the 30th because that's my son's birthday.
Is it the 30th? Might be the 30th.
Yeah.
It's the 30th, my bad. It is not the 29th. It is the 30th.
Yeah.
Wednesday,
anyway,
October
day before
30th,
Halloween.
2024.
Be a Halloween vibe. Maybe.
Yeah, Halloween vibe gallery. We're just gonna have a blast.
Yeah.
And come gain some insight and have fun with us, because
Yeah.
that's what we do. So if you don't know where we're at, we're in West Fargo, North Dakota.
Yeah. So if you're in the area, come on out. We have a few spots open, I think.
Yeah, we have a couple left. I mean, we can only fit so many people in this office.
Yeah.
And people are already coming.
Right.
But we would welcome you to come and have fun with us and share
Yeah.
in the joy of a gallery, which we haven't done in a
Yeah.
while. So
And community, that's what's needed right now.
we love to bring everyone
Gather
together and have some like minds and meet new people.
Have fun together.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we'll see you next week on here. And if not, we'll see you in person next week.
Yes. So exciting.
Yeah.
All right.
Bye-bye.